every time we open the phone line, there is a brother who says, listen, there is something happening in Scott's Pass, and I know you've been following this up, and I want you to continue to follow this up and tell us what is the latest. Now, last week we opened the phone lines again, and he said to me, are you following this up? And I said, well, listen, yes, but I haven't gotten to the Marleys, and I really don't want to carry just one side of the story. But here, so this morning, we have a Marley on the phone line, Stephanie Marley, and we, just to say up front that we invited the Nyahbinghi to be a part of the conversation this morning, a part of the discussion, and they have declined to come on. I've also asked for a statement in lieu of them coming on, and they've also said that they will listen in and then will issue a statement as is necessary after the interview. So just to put that out there, because we didn't want to do this as just a one-sided thing. But many of our listeners would have known by now, because we have been covering this, that there is an ongoing contentious issue at the Scott's Pass Nyahbinghi Center in Clarendon. It involves, of course, the land and the Nyahbinghi temple itself. What can you tell us from your perspective, Stephanie, as to what is the status quo now of the land? Is it a land grant, a gift, or permission to use that the brethren have been using?
First of all, I really have to say that I'm sincerely disappointed that the elders wouldn't come on and speak so that we could discuss it together, because the back and forth is not going to be productive. So I would like to urge them, since they're listening in, to be courageous and just, we know we're not going to have a debate. There's only one fact. Mm-hmm. And in order to just iron it out, I really would urge them to be moved, to stand up, and let's do this together. Right? Mm-hmm. Because they're responding after the fact. I'm not going to respond to them again, Mm-hmm. I just want to talk about it together. So, my disappointment in that, I asked them to get some courage and to come and speak, so we'll do this one time together. Mm-hmm. But
we'll put it this way, the phone lines will still be open, and if anyone wants to come on, they can send me a text, and we'll have that. So go right ahead, Stephanie. Tell us, what is the status quo of the land? Because the background to the land is that this is land that was made available to Rastafari in Clarendon at Scott's Pass by your mother, Nana Rita Marley. What is the status of the land?
Well, historically, an elder, I think his government name is Hugh Scott, known as Rasta, had approached Mommy to seek permission to use the land for worship, so they could have somewhere to do their praise and worship, their gathering and stuff like that. Sister Rita gave them permission to use the land for that purpose. She also had said to them it would be good if Rasta could come together and start a development for themselves, go into agriculture, build a school for their children, and one of Mommy's passion is home for the aged. So she did also tell them, while they have permission to use the land, to develop the land.
Okay.
Currently, that permission, and permanently, that permission has been revoked.
All right. Well, walk us through this permission. So the land was it a gift to Rastafari, or what's the difference between it being a gift and permission to use, from your understanding?
So, from my understanding, permission to use means you can use it for a period of time, forever, if permission is not revoked. But whenever permission is revoked, you no longer have rights to use it. But let me state clearly, it was never Mommy's intention to revoke this permission. Never. Nor was it the plan of any of our children or any of our family member to have any dispute or to even disrupt what Nyahbinghi was doing on the land. That was never our plan or intention. This started from a simple matter. It's like a mole that turned into a mountain. It was a simple matter. All right. Before you get to the simple matter, Stephanie. All right. So I've had discussions with persons who were there at the beginning with Nana Rita, who have used the term gift to say this was land that was given to the Rastafari
by Nana Rita. You're saying that that there is no, it wasn't a gift. It was permission to use for as long as Rastafari needed it or would be using it.
Permission was sought and permission was granted, and there's a big difference by law on what is gifted versus what is permission to use.
Yeah. Have you?
Someone came to mommy and he didn't come and say we need a gift. He sought her permission to use a portion of her property, and she obliged.
Right.
As a Rasta, caring for Rasta.
Right.
Yes, and I can use it. Really on the condition that I'm going to develop it.
What can you tell us about the property itself? How many acres and how many of that did Nana Rita give to Rastafari, the Nyahbinghi in Clarendon, to use?
It's on two sides of the street, and in total it's 27 acres. She originally gave them 10 acres. Mm-hmm. Upon visiting the land a couple of years ago, she realized that there was no development. When she was managing the land, she was farming the land as a Rasta woman. Mm-hmm. And specifically encouraged them to go into agriculture so that we can feed ourselves. So when she went there and saw bush, pure bush, no development, after almost about 20 years of them having it, them not doing no work on the land, she said, all right, you give them plenty and them don't have use for plenty, so she cut it down to 5 acres. Mm-hmm. At the time, when she did that, she told them, look, we're not using the land and not developing it. Clearly, they don't have use for 10. So she only can do upon 5. Mm-hmm. And still, it's pure bush down there. Which never bother us, Mm-hmm. That wasn't bothering us at all. We weren't even watching them things.
So
but
then,
we can get to the simple matter.
So then you said the permission has now been revoked, and permanently revoked. And that is because of a simple matter that you said moved from a mole to a mountain. Tell us about this simple matter.
So in 2019, we received a utility bill. It was quite an enormous utility bill that came in Mommy's name for that property. Mommy wasn't here when the bill was received. I received the bill and I contacted her. And in all confidence, she said, Stephanie, just contact the elders down at Scott's Pass. She was so sure that the Rasta man, them would have take up their responsibility and pay the bill. Mm-hmm. Diligently and respectfully, I searched to find out who is the top administrator, and I ended up speaking one time. So he should never be confused about our discussion, because it was one discussion. Mm-hmm. Right? One time with Ras Ivy, mm-hmm. who told me that he was not going to pay the bill, and Nyahbinghi not in a position to pay it.
All right. That was when? That would have been about 2019. Because that's when we would have gotten the utility. Things escalated since then, because through them never paid the bill. Apparently it was disconnected. And then shortly after that, we got a notice of illegal connection. This time, this notice came in the name Rita Marley and Stephanie Marley. Right? Mm-hmm. That notice stated clearly that if we didn't sort out the illegal connection, which we had nothing to do with, absolutely nothing. We weren't even aware of what was going on because we now watch them, mm-hmm. right? That notice specifically stated that if we don't comply, that is Rita and Stephanie, don't comply to the instructions on the notice, we will be prosecuted to the tune of $250,000 or 12 years in prison with hard labor. And I just read that again yesterday and realized it wasn't just 12 years in prison, but it was 12 years in prison with hard labor. We had to get up and stand up and protect ourselves. We couldn't just, Mm-hmm. So we did. After that, so when the ones and ones from Nyahbinghi going on like them lost, them clueless, them don't know what happened, we had meetings at our lawyer's office with members of the Nyahbinghi to discuss a resolution of this matter so that we wouldn't have to go to court, so that there would be no need for an eviction. So this has been going. So this has been going on from 2019. First a bill came. That was what was the figure on that bill? The water bill. That first bill.
Over 200,000. Enormous.
All right. So there's an over 200,000 water bill. That came in Nana Rita Marley's name, you're saying?
For that property.
Right. So that is telling me that the water bill for that property was paid by Nana Rita Marley, was by the Marley?
Never. So In the discussion with Ras Ivory, I was very surprised to hear him say I'm not taking responsibility, because I'm like, but, mommy don't have nothing to do with running up this bill, so what is the expectation? Him say, well, people living on the land, and they shouldn't be living on the land. And that the Ras tell me. He went on to say that the regulation of Nyahbinghi orders that the property is supposed to be for worship and it's not a place of residence. No, me never even know nothing about that. If you never tell me that, I would not have known. I saw him tell me. Himself tell me, say nobody not supposed to live that. So Ras Ivory tell me, and if I'm wrong, I want him call me and tell me, say, either I lie or I misunderstand or I'm wrong, right? Because think up now, or forever holding a peace.
Are you aware, Stephanie, that there were elders at one time who were living on the land that Nana Rita Marley would have known about and would also have been taken care of?
And our lawyers wrote to them. Mitzi Williams received a letter from our lawyer saying that the elders, specifically, I read it yesterday, anyone over 65 and older has permission to continue staying on the land along with their caregivers. Mm-hmm. So there was never no thing about the elders who need care to move. Mm-hmm. Right? Some of them families stopped deal with them and never had anywhere to go. So truth, them want to make it look like we're heartless, but we're not heartless.
So that this wasn't about getting the elders off the land?
Totally not. No, I don't. No. The simple answer is no. That is confusing to me, because I couldn't understand why that would even be an issue. Them things, no, that is not simple. That is a big thing, right, which we would never do. But it's the simple matters now which is causing such.
Yeah, and the simple matter is a matter of the water bill. It started with the water bill, and then you're saying that you were told that this bill is as it is because there are people living there that should not be living there. Where did you go from there?
My next word was that, but if they shouldn't be living there, then why you don't remove them? Are these not your people? And he said, they're not my people. I'm not responsible for them. And he literally said, we should move them off the land. So when everybody wants to know why the Marley family take up this off upon them head, Ras Ivory tell me with him owner mouth into my owner ears, so we should move them. And that surprised me so much that, and I'm like, but it's your people, it's your order, so you can't get your house in order and you want we to put your house in order? What kind of thing is that? Mm-hmm.
All right, so it moved, it escalated. This is what I'm saying, that this is a situation that escalated.
The mole was just the water bill. Then when we get the persecution for $250,000 and our time in prison, then it started to grow. But then when they didn't want to take responsibility, and then I'm hearing that nobody must live there. So the man tell me, the elder tell me, say, as far as the regulation is, no one should be living there. And I'm saying, well, then why don't you clean up your house, sort it out? Because his thing is, him not pay the water bill, or the Nyahbinghi order is not paying the water bill, because the people who live in there shouldn't be living there. That is why he's not paying the water bill. And I'm saying, but they're your people. And he says no, which is when he disclosed to me that there is a division in the Nyahbinghi order. That again, we now watch them thing, so we don't even know there's a division. So whatever division exists now or existed then has nothing to do with us. We weren't even trying to get into the matter of that. We just want to make sure, say, me or mommy don't get persecuted for some other people's actions. And look at that. Look at the persecution we have now gotten from the Rasta community. Because an elder of the Nyahbinghi tell me, say, we for move them off of the land. And if I never saw you, say, Rasta, if I call right now and make we talk about it. Because you see, after this, first of all, your silence is consent to what me I say, And after this, hold your peace.
Vasaiva is not here to respond to this.
That's why I wish he would come, because I like even call people name in them absence. So I want whoever, true is him I talk to, right? And if him still living and can talk, somebody, when I'm bridging them for call him and say, she call up in him on the radio, defend it. Come and not tell a lie on a man, and if I misunderstand what I'm saying, I will stand corrected. So I would love him knowing or coming up. If me have to go up to the press and tell them all the details, it going to get muckier for them. Right now, me I try hold on certain things so that it don't get mucky for them to come and talk. Because if them respond with any more, this, you know what's really hurtful? They were trying to cover up. Going on and them don't know what this is about.
Let me just say something that I know that my mobile phone is ringing. I can't take I'm not quite sure who's calling me because hold on, please. No, but the thing is that I can't take a call on my mobile phone now because I'm conducting an interview.
Pass it to someone else in the studio. Make them check,
I'm alone today. But let me just say this. Call me through to the telephone operator and we'll take it from there. But I'm going to take a quick break and see if I can take that call. So let me just take a quick break. Hold the line for me, please, Stephanie. Don't go. Right. So we're getting a phone call, Stephanie, just so you know, from Michael Record. And he's saying that he paid the bill. Now we're gonna put him on if you don't mind.
Yes, man.
All right. Yes. Know. All right. So in a little while. So all right. So let's move on. While we get Mikey back on the phone lines. So Stephanie. So here we are. But you have said a simple matter has escalated. The escalation, and for listeners who have been following this for a while, we spoke with Rastager ourselves. A while back, he walked us through the process of when he approached Nana Rita Marley of the groundbreaking of the presence of one of the princes of Ethiopia, who was also there for the groundbreaking, of his understanding that it was a gift that was given to the land, was a gift that was given to the Nyahbinghi movement. Here we are saying, though, hearing from Nana Rita Marley's daughter that this was not a gift, that it was permission to use. I want to go back a little bit, Stephanie, because this is a sticking point and I'm getting a lot of texts from persons who are saying, is this what Nana Rita Marley is saying, that this is not a gift? Is Nana herself saying that?
I'm speaking on behalf of my family, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I represented my mother.
All right. So just to move on so our listeners hear that loud and clear.
And I have on video Rastager saying that he went to Sister Rita to ask for permission.
Yes. And we've had him here too. He's been on the program talking about that and he said the very same thing.
Yeah, she turned around and said, I give permission.
Mm-hmm.
Use the place and develop it. And she know whether they were living there or not, it's not even a problem for me or for mommy. It's not a problem for the family if Rasta living there. The worship there, they live. That's not the problem. The problem is pay your bills and don't let them come in Mrs. Marley's name.
All right. So until we get Ras Mikey on the phone lines, who has said that he himself paid clear that $200,000 bill that you spoke of, the situation has escalated to the point where initially the gates were closed, but the temple was still available to Rastafari. This was my understanding. Am I wrong?
No, the gates were closed because Michael Record himself was starting a coup, wherein when we couldn't get the water bill paid, and we got the notice for this threat of prosecution if we don't follow what the regulation is to fix up the something. And we talked to the people about sorting out them thing, and them say it's not our responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up having to take action because here was now a threat from Water Commission to persecute Sister Rita and myself. So we had to take action because these bills running up. And, it was striking. Rasaiva said to me that there's a division. The people there is not his people. We should move them off the land.
What did you understand that to mean, Stephanie? What was your understanding of that?
But not knowing much of the background, and I like to talk truth and facts, he just said to me, a particular individual who I think was financially supporting them had requested their seal. And that started a severe dispute and a division in their order. We know that a house divided can't stand firm.
Mm-hmm.
So that division is where they're not paying the bill because apparently the people on the land is affiliated with that particular individual who they are in dispute with. So we must take them off of the land. And I guess they had a plan. They thought that when we do their dirty work and get slaughtered like lamb and persecuted by the Rasta community. Who me not understand how so much wagon is in a Rasta. Nobody not stop and say, ask questions, find out the truth before everybody start persecute the slandering.
Let us try and get to the truth this morning then. Let us get to the truth. Mikey is coming on. I'm going to ask you to hold another moment for me, Stephanie, because we want a conference, I call, so we have to ask you to do that. Hold the line for me, and we'll just come right back and continue the conversation. We're back with you inside of the Africa Forum. It is Running African. Lots of emotions on both sides. Lots of passion on both sides of this conversation, of this issue that is happening, unfolding as we speak within Rastafari. I know that it's not sounding good on air, you know. I am aware of that. And one of the things that we'd like to do is to ensure that even while we go at the truth, that we go at the truth in such a way as to remain dignified. So we're trying to get that. We're trying to do that. Ras Mikey is on the phone lines. Ras Mikey, is it your background that is so noisy?
Well, sure, could be. Blessed, greetings, good morning.
All right, greetings. Right, so I have interviewed you many times in this space about this very same issue. I have spoken to Ras Dago, and I've spoken to many other persons. So we have had many conversations about this. You yourself lived on the property, right?
Yes, sister.
Are you still living on the property?
No, not since I'm still living on the property, but since the security guard, come and lock the gate and say no one should be on it. So, I cannot do anything about that, personally.
Right. Okay, so you called in to say that the water bill that Stephanie spoke about, the 200,000 water bill that she spoke about, that it was paid, and it was paid by you?
I pay a water bill at Catch Pass for over 200,000. I have a receipt from Maypen Water Commission. I pay off that bill.
Did you know about this, Stephanie?
I have a receipt in my possession presently right now.
Right, so what is the date on your receipt, brethren?
Repeat?
What is the date? When did you pay this 200,000 water bill?
Okay, I have to check the date. Date.
You really should. You should.
Yeah. I personally, because when you come from foreign, me come here say there's an issue going on at Scotch Pass where the bill should be paid off.
Do you have the? Can you check the date now, Ras Mikey?
Whoa, me that's go look for it right now, But I personally paid it off right now. So
Stephanie, the bill you're talking about was a bill from 2019.
No, just recently. Recently, the water bill, when them have the, what you call it now, the concession, where you have to come in with certain amount of money, and I pay it off.
Okay, so can you, so when you say recent, you paid it within the last year, or within the last few months?
Yeah, within the last year, yeah.
All right.
And when I paid off, the guys them from Water Commission come to connect it, and the security guard did allow them to connect the water.
All right. So, Stephanie, are you aware of this payment?
I have knowledge that a part payment was made from Michael, but
thank you very much.
It would have been too late, though. It would have been too late. Because it done already. And you see, we are not backward moving people,
True.
Yeah, we're not backward moving. It was already too late. He must have paid it sometime this year, which is 2020. Well, last year, which is 2021. Yeah, but from 2019, we are asked for this to get sorted out so that we don't have to talk to the lawyer. Rasta was trying to work this out. Yeah, we
personally, I don't have a problem with the Marleys, I personally, and if brethren, I recommend brethren to evict after the land. You give us right to evict us after the land. Simple.
Yeah, that's what we were told. Nobody must live there. You never know nobody must live there.
But this is the problem. We have to call a state. It's the reality.
Yeah, and then when Sister Kabu talked to you previously, you never tell her nothing about this water bill and the problem. Nobody wants to shed light on the truth. Everybody trying to...
but the person that you communicated with, have a meeting with, didn't relate to us.
You never know about the water bill initially from get-go?
I know about the water bill. That's why I personally pay off.
All right. Okay. So
a year and a half later, him decide to pay the water bill. That time we done a rack up legal fee. That time them done a burn out my family, slander with him, information, a character. Tell we say we are ballad rasta who want kill we. So come on. That's a year and a half after all of that. So where's the respect? Why nobody never get up and say, boy, the Marley them never just lose their mind and decide to have an issue with rasta? You know, it's a simple bill where we never want pay. Nobody not saying that.
All right, so Stephanie, so this, all right, and I'm hearing you also, Mikey. You're saying that you have no problem with the Marleys. You're saying that if they were told that persons should not be on the land, then they had a right to evict persons from the land. This is what you're saying. So that leads us now, Stephanie, to the Nyahbinghi Tabernacle itself. Okay. How was it once persons are being evicted from the land? How did the Tabernacle then also become part of the issue where Rastas now are being totally put off the land? How did we get to this point?
They're being careful to figure out what they're going to do. I mean, we now try hold on to them Tabernacle. If it could have lift up and move them, can move it, whatever. We've already told them, we contact them directly and say anything that they don't have, that they don't want, that don't belong to us, please come and take it off the property. I don't know, I can't speak about the Tabernacle because I don't know what their plans are. I just know that there are other tabernacles, and that is good for Nyahbinghi to continue their gatherings. So I can't speak up. I'm an Ethiopian Orthodox. I'm not sure how Nyahbinghi run them thing. I think them order did need a little, whatever division they have, that's I believe where they should start. They're worrying about the building, but they need to check out them heart. I believe they need to start with them division. So can I say this? So
it was a simple water bill. Basically,
you're quite aware. Don't act surprised. Come on.
No, come on. No, listen to me. You're saying what you're saying, you know. And I'm just asking you. It's just a simple water bill, just a misunderstanding.
Simple water bill.
Listen to me. And it's bredrin from the Rastafari faith give you name to evict us off the land. You have a right to do what you have to do. That is my concept. You call a spade a spade.
All right. So that point has been made. So let us move on, because as I said before, Ras Iva is not here to defend himself or to make a comment on this particular issue, right? So right. So let's move on from that. So the other point then is now we get to the Tabernacle. The Tabernacle, which is of the building itself, which is of historical significance. The land. Stephanie.
Is on the land.
Sorry.
Daughters' quarters, man quarters, bathrooms is on the land. You know, people cultivate the land, people farm the land. It's just like, you understand me? It's outside still, but...
What is cultivated? The place full of bush. Come on now.
No, because security come there and land.
Michael, the place is full of bush before that.
No.
Why security moving from 10 acres?
All right, hang on. Let us not speak over each other.
But listen, it's a since these people come, the security guard come at the gate, bush should be there. You understand? And me alone can't do it. Other people cannot come to cut the land. It's a reality.
All right, so
I don't want no other body company who have eviction.
All right. Hang on a sec for me, please. Hang on a sec for me. The point is, we can have this conversation, Michael. This conversation can be had about the cultivation and all of that can be had outside of this interview, right? Let us just talk about, because what I want to get to is what is the status of the Nyahbinghi Tabernacle and whether or not Rastafari will still have access to the Tabernacle, or they have lost that piece, that the permission is permanently revoked. There is no going back on this? Is that what you're saying, Stephanie?
Yeah, access won't be granted for no more worshiping there. Based on the action and inaction of the Nyahbinghi. Not because Marley don't love Rasta. You understand? We are Rastas. I'm virgin, I'm a Rasta. You understand? But them have a way, just give me a second. They have a way. I've been watching them and studying them for the last 2 years. Because prior to that, you know, the only thing I know about them is that they burn fire and them beat drum, and that connected to me, and I'm sure it connected to my mother and other family members, right? Mm-hmm. But in the last 2 years, I've studied them, and I noticed that they like to do and say things and then turn them back and watch other people.
Like what?
Consequences.
So the point, so to underscore the point, the Nyahbinghi Tabernacle at Scotts Pass is no longer available to the daughters' quarters, etc., no longer available to Rastafari. What then becomes of that? Because that was built by Rastafari, Stephanie. So what does the Marley family pay for that, or how does that work?
Well, I cannot say that we're going to pay anybody, because right now, according to the court order, these people who have been residing there, according to Rasta, shouldn't be residing there. The court order also stipulates that they owe Mrs. Marley, right? Mm-hmm. And we not even worry about that, because our thing is not about money. We're not worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
Does it want to come to that, but that's not the thing. So, Ras Ivy and the elders who were the administrators for Scotts Pass Nyahbinghi, they would have to answer the question about that. And they can write to my attorney if they want to know about paying back and stuff like that. But it might wash itself out based on what they owe.
Is there any
my say is we are all black people, and you know there's the dirty linen out there. We must can iron it out some way or the other.
Are you saying, Ras Mikey? Are you appealing? I hear you, Ras Mikey. Mikey, hang on a sec. Are you making an appeal to Stephanie? Let me just finish. Let me finish, Mikey. Please let me finish the question. Are you making an appeal to Stephanie Marley this morning, who's speaking on behalf of her mother, Nana Rita Marley, to revisit the decision to revoke access totally from Nyahbinghi Rastafari, and to work out something to allow Rastafari to return to the land?
Even to celebrate. To celebrate and His Majesty, you understand me, you know, other black, you know, personally, I'm making the appeal on behalf of all races over the world, to the Rita Marley Foundation, the Bob Marley, the Marley brothers, because it don't look good out there.
It certainly don't look good out there, because the way they do the thing is like we couldn't sit down and talk about it.
We have to speak the truth now, call up what it
says. You of all persons, Michael, he don't have nothing against the Marley family and the amount of slander.
No, you know that. I don't anything against them.
Let me just respond to your request on behalf of yourself and others. Let me just respond. My response to that is you need to go speak to Ras Ivy, and whatever division and I have on a order, straighten it out. Because we as a family don't want to have nothing. Because right now, we get in the middle of some division where we don't even know nothing about. We don't even concern us. We don't even want to get involved in a division. So the response to that request is we need to go unite, sit down as brothers, start out in an order, and build up on ourselves as a people.
Ras Mikey, are you aware of this decision?
I would love you to be a part of that process, you know.
Me not talk to nobody who slander my mother and my name. I would never sit down with anybody from the Nyahbinghi order. Let me make that clear. I would never have a discussion after my sit on the heart. When I think I just watching the face and the words.
No, listen.
All right, Stephanie, I can hear that you're very angry. Hang on there. Stephanie, Mikey, hang on a sec. So, Stephanie, I can hear that you are very angry, right? So we hear that coming out. You're frustrated and you're also very angry about the situation in its entirety. So I'm just let's give ourselves a moment to calm down a bit, and then to say to you, Stephanie. All right. So in your response to Ras Mikey, are you saying then that there is really no chance of a reconciliation, that the decision has been made and it is final?
The decision has been, the time for reconciliation has passed. Everything of its time. Everything of its time, and that time has passed.
Mm-hmm. So as far as you are concerned,
let me just say, we have plans for the property now, and it's not to sell it, Nobody, my family have no interest in or intention or thought of selling it.
All right.
There's never been a discussion about that.
What are the plans for the property?
To purpose the land the way Sister Rita intended it to be purposed.
All right.
And that is the mission.
Can you talk to us about that mission, what it will include?
Well, we're starting with agricultural development. We want to go into export and see what we can make from that. And if that develops, then we can move on to her other mission and intention to see if we can actually build a school for Rasta children so them can stop cut off for pitting them natty and stop teach us some brainwash education and show Nyahbinghi order how a Rasta family can make a difference, much less a whole community of Uno who me don't know what to say.
So let me see if I'm hearing you right. You're saying that the land is already being earmarked for use for agriculture, for export, and then also to build from that a school for Rastafari children. Can you say what kind of agriculture, what kind of export?
You know, to be honest, right now we're looking in yam and banana and the basic things and see how it can develop from there. There's a great market for coconut oil and castor oil, so we're looking into that as well.
And this is going to be done on both sides of the road for all of the acreage of the land?
You know, we're thinking on the other side where the water is, that we could do something more recreational. You know, we're thinking.
All right.
We know that on the top of our head, we're dealing with agriculture for export.
All right. So I have a message from Ras Irie, and he is he's being advised to come on, and so I'm going to ask you to hold the line for me. We're going to say goodbye to you, Ras Mikey, and then hold the line for me, Stephanie, while we get Ras Irie on the line. Is that okay?
Yes,
all right. Okay. All right, so it was always a contentious issue. We have been following this for a very, very long time. We've had many, many interviews on this. And I know that behind the scenes, mediation were happening, that people were having conversations, that discussions were taking place and so on. But here we are at the point where the land is being revoked. Right, it's a bit difficult when we are working without a broadcast assistant in the studio, but Sharika, who is at the same time doubling up as at the desk and also as a broadcast assistant, is ensuring that we get this right. So we're standing by to speak with Ras Irie along with Stephanie Marley. So the background, you know the background very well. For those persons who don't know, the land in Scots Pass, where the Scots Pass Nyahbinghi Tabernacle has been for many, many years, was donated. We're hearing from Stephanie Marley that it was the Nyahbinghi was given permission to use that land by Queen Nana Rita Marley. This was many, many years ago. One of the oldest Nyahbinghi tabernacles in Jamaica. Now, over the years, Clarendon and Scots Pass has been the heartbeat and the foundation of Nyahbinghi in Jamaica. I've been to many Nyahbinghi sessions, even as a student, at which I saw Rita Marley herself, Nana Rita Marley herself. She has been instrumental in taking care of some of the elders who were living there, and even now taking care of some of the elders. She has done similar work on the continent of Africa. I've been there also with her. I've seen the work that she's been doing on the continent of Africa. But now our understanding, and you've been hearing the conversation, is that the land is being revoked for various reasons. All right, so I'm going to go back to the phone lines now, where we have on the phone lines Stephanie Marley, who is the daughter of Nana Rita Marley, and Ras Irie, who has joined us on the phone lines. Ras Irie, greetings, blessed. Welcome to the program.
Blessed love, Sister Kabu.
All right, I think you've been listening, Ras Irie. We've had conversations. One of the things, Ras Irie, this has been going on for a while, and I have reached out to you on many of these occasions. I've had many interviews about this particular issue, and I've reached out to you, and all the time you have said, I prefer not to have a conversation on this. Now you're here. Why have you chosen to come on now?
Well, hearing my name being thrown in the ring as the scapegoat, the person who initiated this removal, probably brought them to court and to evict. So, and I'm hearing a narrative that the land was not gifted. I was there from the onset, and I can refute that by saying I was there in 1987 when I was called from the Tabernacle by Bongo Daniel, who, when he called me, I saw him and Sister Rita standing together. And he said to me, I want you to listen to what Sister Rita is saying. Sister Rita said she had this land out in Scots Pass and wanted to give a portion of that land to the Nyahbinghi order, not just permission to use, to give. It so happened that I was not there when the inauguration or the gift was concretized in the presence of Prince Dawit Makonnen and Prince Tamra, two princes of Ethiopia. But Ras Dago was there, Ras Mabrak was there, Dr. Dunan was there, and others, yeah? Ras Daniel built a tabernacle on the ground. Sister Rita told me and my brother about a year after that she had initially gave Bongo Daniel a 20 grand to start the project of the tabernacle. So I said to her, well, Sister Rita, the Nyahbinghi order has not accepted this on hearing only from Bongo Daniel, because he was trying to call a Bingi there. Gilbert came, blew off piece of the tabernacle before even a Bingi was there. So Sister Rita, if you want your gift to be accepted by the order, you must come to a Nyahbinghi gathering to make it known, because this is the only way this gift will be accepted. She said, when is the next Bingi? Because I met her at one morning after Reggae Sunsplash was ended. So I said to her, the next Bingi will be in September. And she said, where will that be? I said, St. Thomas. She said, no, that's out of my scope. I said, when again? I said, November, and this time it will be in Montego Bay. And I told her, 2nd of November we'll be having Bingi. She said, oh, I'll be flying out from Montego Bay, so I will just come over to the tabernacle. Sister Rita came. Julian Marley was there at that time, very young man. He didn't have a strand of dreadlocks as yet. And I introduced her to the house, and she spoke of this gift that she had for the Nyahbinghi house, which is a piece of land at Scots Pass. So, Bongo Watto, our ancient elder, he revoked it. The Sister Rita will not take no land from Uno. And he was being, I would say, very aggressive. He used words to describe her that I admire her. From that day, I admire Sister Rita's tolerance and all, because she responded in a manner to say, Bongo Watto, you're saying reggae pollute this and reggae corruption and reggae people do that. And she said, have you ever listened to my songs? Have you ever listened to Rambe? And Bongo Watto, no, I hear nothing about the song. I don't listen to reggae. I'm going to pollute the faith. So I said to my elder, Bongo Tani, you cannot allow a one-man decision to override the wishes of the house. Get up and speak, or else Bongo Watto will make this gift slip out of your hands. Bongo Tani, listening to me, got up and said, well, Sister Rita, I and I of the Nyahbinghi order will be building tabernacle here, there, everywhere, have no abiding place. And for the I as our sister to come and to give we a piece of land that we can feel good and call it our own. We give thanks, my sister, in the name of the Almighty Jah. And the whole congregation say, Rastafari, in accepting this gift. So we knew then, and the house accepted that, yes, Sister Rita would have given us, and she said, half of the property. So we had Bingi there, I think, the following year, inaugurating the first Nyahbinghi at Scots Pass. So from then we started. We knew then that this was ours. The next thing would have been paperwork. It reached a stage where after we requested that over time, Nana engaged Brother Miguel to get a surveyor to go to Scots Pass and to do a division. Brother Miguel called me. I spoke at the reasoning to say that to the ones who live there, that the surveyors will be coming. I can't remember exact day, but the surveyors will be coming, and they should assist the surveyor in bushing the line so that you can use his compass or whatever they used to do surveying, and they should also consult with the neighbors so that the lines can be drawn. But we knew from a position of where our part would stop going over to Sister Rita's land. There's a storeroom and there's a nestberry tree behind it. We knew that our portion of the land would come right behind the kitchen, because then Marley had a house, one of those old, what I call Victorian style house, on that land where Mortimer Planner had lived, and another bredrin, I think Ayatollah and Sister Ivy, grandma, occupied one of the rooms. So we know our part would not go beyond there. So we had that imaginary line even before a surveyor would come.
Rasaibai, let me interrupt you a minute, Rasaibai, only because I have just 9 minutes left before the next program. Before Big A comes in. So the bottom line of what you're saying is that you were there when the land was granted to Rastafari as a gift, that the understanding of Rastafari is that this was not permission to use, but that this was a permanent gift. Stephanie is saying that she's had conversations with her mother, Nana Rita Marley, who has said to her that this is not a gift, it was permission to use. Am I right in saying? Am I right, Stephanie?
Permission was requested and permission was granted, correct.
So Nana Rita Marley is not at the moment thinking that she gave the land as a gift.
No, that could not be. When the princes of Ethiopia were there, it was a gift. It was published in Rastafari International News that Sister Rita Marley contributes 10 acres of land to the Nyahbinghi order. Those newspapers was all over the world, and I'm sure some must have been sold anywhere where everyone could have access to it, and we still have copies of those. But Miguel, as an attorney at law, was called by Nana to get a surveyor to do a subdivision of the land. We got a diagram. It's when we got the diagram, we found out that the land acreage was 27.5. And when the narrative was saying it's Bob Marley land, because sometimes when we try ascertain someone on the property to say, no, you can't just come from anywhere and come live like that. Then we have to Bob Marley land, and we said, no. We changed the narrative.
Well, let me ask Stephanie.
It was Rita Anderson's name on the diagram we had. So we were sure that it was Rita, and we were sure it was not Bob who gave us. It was Rita Marley. And then later on, no, Kabu, I must say this, and a separation of the land when the property was fenced, a separation was made as to where our boundaries would be. A wall came up to where the house where Planner used to live. There was a wall that was there.
So yes, go ahead, Stephanie. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Our acreage was fenced, so we knew then.
So, hang on, Wasaiba. Let me have Stephanie respond, only because now I have just about 7 minutes. But let Stephanie respond. Go ahead.
Kabu, I will just say that I listened to an interview with Wasaiba and Muta. And Muta kept saying, but what could have caused this? What could have caused this? And he was covering up what could have caused this when he clearly knows what caused that. Number one. Number two, I listened to him take credit, right, for the health fears that Rita Marley Foundation put on, right? So while they were discrediting Mummy, for the works that she has done.
What fears?
When he said the elder, he said an elder, and I saw an elder also on the news that was saying how grateful they are been for Nyahbinghi to be here, because it's the only place them get such good level of free health care. The lady would tell you about her teeth, and you took full credit. Nyahbinghi every health care Rita Marley Foundation organize, administer, and fund. So this is a person now who is speaking, who I can't credit much what I'm saying. He also said to Muta that CVM come up with this headline that Rasta against Rasta. How could he say that when I watch Ayatollah at the demonstration with him? And Ayatollah said all time on about Rasta against Rasta. When CVM take it and run with it, it's because of that Rasta said. Finally, I don't want to ever hear anybody say Marley's call Rasta squatters. Because their lawyer, Miss Barrington, Hannah Harris Barrington, is the one that tell them have squatters' rights and they're not to move because they have squatters' rights. They turn and tell us that we cannot evict them because they have squatters' rights. Them call themselves squatters and then go and turn around with a narrative to make it look like and broadcast it that Marley call Rasta squatters, and I must speak the truth and speak it forever.
Let me ask this question then. Rasaibai, you're on. We just heard Ras Mikey making the appeal to return the land. He didn't go to the position of saying it was a gift. You were there. You said it was a gift. What would you like to see done? And what would you like to say to Stephanie about that in this space, if anything?
Sister Kabu, from the onset, we were trying arbitration. We involved Sister Desta Megu, who is a close friend, attorney, with Sister Rita Marley, and we tried arbitration in every way. We were bent on not having a brawl. And from my own community, I was accused for not coming out from them, because then we were trying to do this thing in a respectful way. When the Marleys had a long-standing relationship, there was no Nyahbinghi where Bob did not provide a stipend for the storeroom. Nana Rita had been a part of everything. She had been there. She came to the clinic. I remember at one of the clinic in 2010 when I gave her the tour of what the facility and showed her. She said, Rasaibai, why not finish these buildings? We are talking about concrete structures.
So Rasai, by the water bill aside, Stephanie said she had a conversation with you about that. She also said...
Let me clarify that water bill situation. Yeah. The last two Nyahbinghis we had there. Because, after a while, they always with a passive approach in resisting that negative energy that started at Scott's Pass, where some of the elders was siphoned off on a side from the house and against the decisions of the order. With that water bill, when we returned and restored Scott's Pass to having Bingies again, RFM came, we had a grand July birthday Isaac, and then we had a grand coronation Isaac there. Within those Bingies, we paid, when we found that the water bill was 160,000, I called the bredrin Ayatollah, who was responsible for collecting money each time to pay it. I said, Ayatollah, the bill reached 160,000. They had a deal with it, sir. We collected 18,000 at that Bingi, 16,000 at the other Bingi, and I gave to one of our treasurer, Mother Merle, 34,000 within 2 Bingi to cut down that water bill. So
do you recall Rasai, by having the conversation with Stephanie about the division and that you weren't responsible?
Oh, yes, that division was clear to everyone.
Right, and we had conversations about that here in the space too. So what we heard from Ras Mikey is that if Stephanie was told that the people living on the land were not Nyahbinghi people and that it was okay to get...
I could not have said that.
Or they were not your people, right?
Them because my 2 sons were part of that nucleus. One of my sons, he left. The one who was actually staying there can do rabbit rearing and stuff. The other son just go up at night, leave in the morning because he loved the ambience. They had grown up around Scott's Pass.
So the long.
Was I not told that no one should be residing there? Because that is what I was told
from the onset. And we will say this, and we said it at Tabernacle, because sometimes when we have ones who were problematic, we would say, remember, the land was not a tenement yard property. It's a Nyahbinghi center, and only authorized persons were supposed to live there.
The point, what we want to clear up is, at some point, the Stephanie Marley, on behalf of Richard Marley, the family, took a decision to evict Rastafari from the land. Stephanie says this is because of what she was told.
No, Rastafari has just been used as a scapegoat to say, I said to evict one. Probably I tell her to protect back the land too. But this is not so.
Stephanie,
it's not so because what I said, and I remember clearly when the question was asked, we would say, and I would say it in any congregation, we know that the biggest centers, if you look at Pit 4 has to be standing up to ensure don't become a tenement yard where one just come and live, because we know the problems associated with that.
All right.
But when we have a number of elders living on the land now, and Marshanti's house was on the land, even when the eviction came up, even before this last time, Marshanti was on Gideon.
What would you like to see? Look here, Rastafari, I'm out of time. I'm asking Big A for 5 minutes. Is that okay, Big A? All right, 5 minutes. Rastafari, what would you like to see happen?
What I would like to see happen, that royal gift in the presence of two princes of Ethiopia, in the name of Haile Selassie I, the good heart Sister Rita had to think about giving us this land. We would want that to be restored. And the Nyahbinghi then would have to put conditions in place to ensure a smooth running. I mean, this is
Stephanie,
we're talking about.
Yes, Stephanie, what is there a possibility of that, Stephanie? Or is this final? Is there a possibility of revisiting the decision?
No, Sister Rita still has a good heart, and she also very much has a good brain. Her mind is still very good. And so because of the contention and the slandering, nobody stood up to say, hold on there. Before we act like we don't know what's happening, let us just tell the people them the truth. Put us in the mud, and we get to the point where we had to go to court. Forced basically to go to court, because that was never our plan or our intention. We are not moving back. We cannot move back. We're looking forward. We already have plans for the place, and there's no turning back on those plans.
All
the
right.
investments are already been put in together. But as I heard Rasaiva say on Muta's program, the Nyahbinghi or those who were there in their heart and spirit are ready to move on, and we'll send our blessings with that.
No, hold on. I must say this, Sister Stephanie. When I said that, on account of the back and forth and the ups and downs, yes, some brethren get frustrated. And
we are frustrated. We are very frustrated.
Those are individuals. But the order, because Stephanie, I want you to remember clearly that even prior to the lockdown, we had a plan to give Sister Nana Rita Marley our her Imperial Majesty award. In April, and the lockdown took place in May, so there was no occasion that we had walked away.
One thing we can say from this discussion this morning is that the decision seems to be final, coming from permanent is the word that the Marley family is using. Rasaiva, I hear the appeal from Ras Mikey. I also hear what you say you'd like to see. It seems as if the door is shut on this.
No, Stephanie said that's a long time now that the door of arbitration was closed, because we were trying to Sister Desta. Sister Desta suggested that she would put to Sister Rita we are a trust. We would involve a trust where you have two members of a trust, two members of the Marley family, two members of the Nyahbinghi, to see the runnings of the Nyahbinghi.
And the only reason that was denied is because they were slandering her name. They had
not the Nyahbinghi.
Coming towards the... You yourself said on social media posting. Not only were they slandering her name, but they were death threats. So we don't deal with people who have their community
coming from us.
Threatening to us.
All right, it seems to me, Stephanie and Rasaiva, it seems to me as if here we have the Marley family. Here we have the Marley family on one hand, and we have Rastafari on the other hand. This is
Rastafari too, I'm not going to be separated from Rastafari because nobody want them division. I and my family cannot be separated from Rastafari.
But this is how it is appearing, right, Stephanie? This is how it's appearing. And whether or not the land is, whether the decision is permanent, we've heard that. I think that there's still the issue of Rastafari, the Nyahbinghi Rastafari, in Clarendon, in specifically mending, and the Marley family mending this relationship, both international, and this obviously, it don't look good nationally, it don't so good nationally, and internationally even worse. So is there a way that this relationship can be mended?
We won't be in any further conversations after today. And so they should unite themselves and figure out how they move forward, because we're not turning back.
Well, moving forward would have meant that the investments we have made on the center would have to, there must be some recourse. We have millions of dollars worth of
they can write and send it forward here.
So it seems as if now it's another legal battle. We really would have wanted to save the name of Marley, not to
save the name. When you can't save Marley name, go save yourself, please.
You know, this is all right. So listen. So hang on. I don't want it to descend. I don't want to descend anymore on air. So let's continue the conversation off air. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rasai, for coming in. Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Well, I thank my family, Sister Kabu.
Yes.
No dad.
Right, have to go on.
Thank you, thank you both, and thank you, Stephanie. This is obviously a very contentious issue, and I know that it will not end here. That somehow this has to be mended. I have hope and faith that it can be mended, and I'm even hoping, Stephanie, that the decision can be revoked to make it a permanent, taking away the land, but. Blessings to both of you. This is really a serious issue for Rastafari. It's a serious issue also, I think, for the Marley family. Thank you both.
Blessing and love, Sister Kabu.
Well, I've had many interviews on this station over my life, Mr. Bigay. I've taken 6 minutes. I'm going to hand it back to you. This is one of the most difficult ones. This is one of the most difficult ones that I've ever had. And usually you're able at the end to say, all right, let us go forward and meet and see how we can fix this. And we're not getting this at all. We're hearing how angry Stephanie is. She's representing her mother, Nana Rita Marley. So that anger, I think, is coming from the space. And this is how the Marleys feel now. Rastafari will have to pay attention to that this is how the Marleys feel. Now, hearing also Rastafari and how hurt and frustrated you are, that the Marley family will have to pay attention to that this is how Rastafari are feeling.